Crowds step back as Princess Leonor arrives. The sun was shining, the flags were waving, and the air was thick with excitement. Crowds pressed forward, as they always do when royalty makes an appearance. People waited for a smile, a glance, a wave. That's what everyone expected, just another royal arrival. But then, it happened. The moment Princess Leonor stepped forward, the atmosphere changed. The crowds did not surge closer, they stepped back. Not out of fear, not out of hesitation, but out of reverence. A ripple moved through the sea of people, as if the presence of Spain's future queen carried a force all its own. And here's the paradox. In an age where monarchies are often questioned, where royalty is scrutinized more than it is worshipped, Leonor's arrival created the opposite reaction. It wasn't doubt, it wasn't distance, it was awe. A quiet, unspoken recognition that this young woman is no longer just a princess. She is becoming the symbol of a nation's future. But why? What was it about this moment that made thousands instinctively give way? To understand, we have to go deeper into who Leonor is, and why her presence commands not just attention, but respect. From the moment she was born, Leonor was destined for history. The firstborn daughter of King Felipe VI and Queen Letizia, she was not merely celebrated as a royal child, she was hailed as the heir. For Spain, this was unprecedented. For centuries, it was men who carried the crown. But Leonor's birth signaled change. She would be the one to inherit the throne, the one to carry Spain into a new era. And yet, being heir is not the same as being accepted. Spain has faced political divisions, economic struggles, debates over monarchy itself. Leonor's role was never guaranteed by blood alone, she had to earn it. Every public appearance, every speech, every gesture was weighed, measured, and judged. Could she truly be the queen Spain needs? The moment the crowd stepped back answered that question. Because respect is not demanded, it's given. And in that instant, the people gave it freely. But what built to this point? We must rewind to her early years. While other children played freely, Leonor's life was carefully crafted. Tutors, mentors, lessons in diplomacy, history, law, languages. By her teenage years, she was already addressing audiences with calm precision. When she gave her first public speech at just 13 years old, her voice did not tremble. It carried. That was the first sign of the leader within. Later, at 18, she swore her oath to the Spanish Constitution in a ceremony watched by millions. Her words were clear, steady, deliberate. And as she spoke, Spaniards began to see not just a girl, but a queen in waiting. Now, imagine the weight of all those years culminating in a single appearance. The palace doors opening. The hush that falls over the crowd. The quiet intake of breath before she steps forward. When she appears, dressed with elegance but without extravagance, every camera turns, every head bows, every voice lowers. And then it happens, the subtle but undeniable shift. The crowd parts. People lean back, giving her space. Not because they are told to, not because security demands it, but because her presence demands it. It is instinctive, almost primal. When greatness arrives, the world makes room. Still, what does this moment mean beyond the spectacle? That's where the story deepens. Because Leonor is not just walking into a crowd. She is walking into history. She represents the bridge between old Spain and new Spain, between monarchy and modernity. And every time she appears in public, she is being tested. Can she balance tradition with progress? Can she be both royal and relatable? Can she embody dignity while inspiring love? The answer, if this moment proves anything, is yes. But curiosity pulls us further. What does the future hold for her? If today, as a young princess, she inspires reverence, what will happen when she ascends the throne? Will the same crowds who step back today step forward tomorrow to defend her monarchy? Will she reign as a symbol of unity in a fractured nation? Or will the pressures of politics and the burden of history weigh too heavily? Each question leads to another. Each answer reveals a deeper mystery. Consider her family. Queen Letizia, once a journalist, has taught Leonor the art of speaking not just with words, but with presence. King Felipe, a man of quiet strength, has guided her with discipline and duty. Yet the royal family is not without its tensions, rumors of rivalries, criticisms from media, doubts from Republicans who wish to abolish the crown altogether. Leonor is not sheltered from these realities. She faces them every day. And yet, when she walks among her people, when the crowds step back, those doubts fade. At least for a moment, she embodies something untouchable: hope. Now let us pause here. Imagine being there in that very crowd. The anticipation, the swell of people, the sudden silence, then the slow parting, as if everyone collectively decided, she is not one of us, she is above us. Not in arrogance, but in destiny. That image stays. It lingers in the heart. Because what we witnessed was not just the arrival of a princess. It was the arrival of an idea, the idea that monarchy, when embodied with grace and strength, can still inspire. And yet, we must not forget the paradox. Reverence today does not guarantee reverence tomorrow. Leonor must continue to prove herself. Every gesture she makes will be magnified, every choice dissected. The very crowd that stepped back in awe could one day step forward in criticism. This is the tightrope she must walk. But here is where love enters the story. Because Leonor is not only a princess, not only an heir, she is also a daughter, a sister, a young woman finding her place in the world. Beyond the crown, she longs for the same things any heart desires: understanding, belonging, connection. And it is here that her humanity shines through. Perhaps that is why the crowd stepped back. Not just for a royal, but for a young woman carrying both the weight of a crown and the tenderness of a heart. As she continues to grow, each appearance will carry more meaning. Each step she takes will echo louder. And each time she arrives, the world will watch. Will the crowd step back again, not because they must, but because they want to? The answer lies not just in tradition, but in Leonor herself. So when history looks back at this moment, it may not record the details of the day, the weather, or the outfits. What it will remember is the silence, the collective breath, the instinctive respect. Because that is what makes a monarch, not the title, not the crown, not the lineage. It is the ability to step into a room, or into a crowd, and have the world instinctively make way. Princess Leonor did not demand that respect. She earned it. And that is why, when she arrives, the crowd step back. And one day, when she takes her place as queen, the world will know, it all began here, in a moment when awe overcame doubt, when silence overcame noise, when reverence overcame criticism. The arrival of a princess who is already becoming a queen.